Morning. So this is week number 3 and I am having a really bad hair day. I had to go and have a shower and I'll tell you why in a sec. I am on the balcony again, and even though it is raining in the leafy suburb of Surrey in which I live, it is still far too hot to actually do the videos in the studio or actually in the house. I did sit down this morning. I was in the studio this morning, and I did sit down this morning and start videoing, and I just felt the beads of sweat running off my forehead and thought to myself, you know what, I can't do it here. It's just not conducive. And the problem is, it's not only the ambient air temperature, but it's the fact that when I'm working in the studio, I'm also got lights to keep the illumination, because the studio doesn't have very many windows in it, and that all generates heat, and that heat generally tends to generate itself in beads of sweat on me. So it wasn't particularly pleasant. So I hope you forgive me for doing this again from the balcony, where I'm actually getting a little bit wet because the rain is just blowing in a bit, but it's actually better than sitting there watching me sweat profusely on camera. Anyway, that said, the first thing I'm going to talk about this morning is I'm not sure how to put this, but laziness is probably a word I'd use. So when I put videos onto YouTube, when I do these videos and all the videos about the equipment, I always try to put into the narrative what the video is about or what the video is discussing, so that it gives you a modicum of information about whether, you know, if you don't want to watch the video, if it doesn't interest you, you don't have to. You know, you can make an informed judgment and say you're not interested in that and don't watch it. But when I get comments on the channel about certain things, and I think, well, I've actually written that in the narrative, so why didn't you read the narrative? And I think it's just sort of the way that YouTube works, because what YouTube of course does is it sort of sticks the next video up and you click on it, and then if you don't like it, you click the dislike button and you move on to the next video. You don't actually see the narrative. So is it laziness, or is it the way that YouTube interacts with you, the watcher of my video? And I'm not 100% sure. I think probably it's more the interface than anything else. So if you're watching this on an iPhone or you're watching this on a tablet, typically the narrative that I have probably spent 10 or 15 minutes composing to put against the video, you'll never ever see. You'll just go straight into the video, watch the video, and then make a comment on it, rather than actually read maybe what I've put in the narrative, which also might be things like links to other videos. And I think that is a failing of the YouTube interface, to be honest. Now I come to think of it, but it's just mildly amusing. I do find these things amusing. There's a mailbag video that's going to go up in the next couple of days that I filmed last week, and there was a guy there who made a comment, and it actually really amused me, the comment. I mean, it was a negative comment, so, you know, I put negative comments up on the channel as much as I put positive comments up on the channel. It was a negative comment, but I have to admit, I had a real big chuckle about it. And maybe you'll see why when if you see the mailbag segment. But I do think the interface, and I sort of get it. I do get it. You know, a tablet or a phone, there's only so much screen real estate, and they're trying to make sure that they get the important bit, which is the video, into there. But all I'm saying is, you know, sometimes just go and have a look at what the author or the creator, if you like, has actually put on that video, because it might give you some more narrative over what that video is about. I mean, the other one I sort of saw was I had somebody on the channel the other day contact me about, they were changing their keyboard stand setup, and they'd actually gone and done the same thing I did, which was actually go and buy Gibraltar. Now I love my Gibraltar stands, you know, they are so solid. My problem is I haven't got enough of it. And the guy sort of said, well, do I want to buy his, because he was changing his setup completely. And while I was sort of sitting there thinking, you know what, this would be a really good idea, I might actually go and buy this. My problem at the moment is in my studio, I just do not have the physical space to put another Gibraltar stand in. If I can get the nastiness with my X out of the way, then, you know, the whole idea is to move the studio somewhere else, and I've already know where the studio is moving to. I just need her out of my hair to be able to release the capital, to be able to go and do what I want to go and do with it. So we are where we are. So the next thing I'm going to talk about today is this thing arrived. I'm going to have a slug of my coffee as well because I've got dry throat. There's nothing like good coffee. Anyway, this thing arrived. Okay, so looking at this, anyone guess what it is? This is a package from a company called ISLA Instruments. A company run by a guy called Brad Holland. I don't know whether you've ever come across him. Now, on the channel 9 months ago, I mentioned about this company and a product that they had been building using crowdfunding, and it was going to be called the Kordbot. Okay, so that is a composing tool, I suppose. And there have been lots of delays with this thing. Lots of delays. I mean, lots of delays. To the point where some people were getting really antsy on the Facebook page for the guy. Now, I do get what's going on. It's a young company, very small. It's only got a few employees, and he's more of a designer. That seems to be where his forte is, and he's just had issue after issue after issue in terms of designing and sourcing the components. And as I say, he's got some quite bad press, but what he has now managed to do is he's actually managed now to ship this, and I've been waiting for this for 9 months. So this actually is the first time it has actually come out of the box. I only got, it was only picked up last week, and I only went over to pick it up because I don't have parcels delivered here. I have parcels delivered somewhere else, and only go and pick them up once or twice a week. So there you go. That is a Kordbot. Now you're going to ask me what this thing does, and I'm going to say, well, actually, the thing is, what doesn't it do? It has a step sequencer in it. It has a chord progression system in it. It is all software driven. You flash the software onto this thing. Color display, which I will show you in detail. I'm not going to show you at the moment because it's got no power. Around the back, it's a standard 9-volt DC input, USB input. You can actually run this off USB, so again, my comments on USB ergonomics come into this because I don't know what this thing takes, but I suspect it's probably 100 milliamps or so. Then we have the MIDI in and out, no through, but just a MIDI in and out. And then we have a foot switch and a pedal, okay, which of course are the mini 3/8 of an inch jack, which I personally hate, but that's where we are. And then right on the back there, buried down there somewhere, you can see the reset button. The only thing I've got to say, Brad, is I ordered the black one. That's not black. That is definitely white. Where's my black one? Yeah, it's got a bit of a scratch on it as well. Oh, actually, it's a scratch on the plastic covering. It's not a scratch on the screen. Oh, good stuff. Anyway, that has arrived. 9 months that has taken, from the point I ordered it to the point it arrived. So what am I going to say about the Kordbot? I think when I looked at the specs of this thing 9 months ago, I thought it was a really, really good idea, and I still think it's a really good idea. I think it's a self-contained composer's experimental tool. So it's designed in various modes it operates, and I will show you how it operates, although there are other videos on the internet that will probably show you how it operates as well. But it's a composer's tool, that's the way I'd put it. It allows you to play around with musics and with musical structure while you're writing something. So for argument's sake, if you're doing a chord progression, the Kordbot may suggest additional chords or chord structures that you might want to take in your chord progression to make it a little bit more jazzy than just a simple progression. So it's an interesting instrument. As I say, it's taken 9 months to get here, and I'm quite excited about getting to use it. Now the problem I've got now is that I'm now busy for the next week, so I'm not going to get to use it very much, which is really disheartening. Like a lot of things I've got recently, I've got loads of stuff has arrived. The problem is I'm not getting the time to actually sit and play with it. I mean, for the last 3 weeks it has just been too hot to actually go and sit in the studio and play. After about 30 minutes of being in there, it's like a sweatbox. So that's where we are. Anyway, it is wet. It is Sunday, and I shall see you next time right here. Bye bye. So this is the point in the video where I turn around to you, my viewer, and say, if you enjoyed the content of this video, please give it a thumbs up. The way the Google and YouTube analytic engines work is that the more likes you get against a video, the more it gets promoted by YouTube and Google, and therefore more people with the similar interests to what you have and I have get to see this content. This channel is driven by my love of music technology. That's what it's called, the Music Tech Guy for. If you've got queries, want to ask questions about themes or issues I raise on this channel, please, please, please do. Put your comments into the comment section below the video, and I will try to address whatever issue it is you've raised or whatever question you've raised. If it's something to do with me making future videos in terms of how to do something on a particular piece of equipment I possess, please feel free to say that as well. I can't promise to make videos on all the requests I get, but I do have a jolly good go at making most of them. Around about here is the subscribe button. Again, to do with the YouTube and Google analytic process, the more subscribers the channel gets, the more the channel gets promoted, and the more people get to see the content that you have obviously just watched. If you want to see my latest video, it will be in one of these two boxes on this side of the screen. Also, there is a second box there, and that video will be chosen for you by YouTube based on your YouTube preferences. I look forward to the next time that we interact, and I do mean interact because I always enjoy reading your comments back to me. But for now, bye bye.